Hey, Fantasy League. Mike here. So, I wanted to prophesize to you guys about this thing that I like to call power rankings and where we all line up in that. How about you join me in a magical world of fantasy football with week 5 of the Josh Allen League Fantasy Football Power Rankings. So let's say, theoretically, we start this week's Power Rankings with number 9. And this week, that is Jack, also known as Where's My Clitoris. And let's say that Jack's team didn't do anything this week for me to move him up this week. And it wasn't for running back Austin Ekeler. This team would have been subpar again this week, and I really have nothing to say about this team. They had their first win of the season, but it came from Matloff's team. 9. As we all know, the number 8 comes after the number 9. And that's where we are at with our power rankings. And this week, it's Daniel's team. This team has some huge benefactors this week, with a huge game from quarterback Jared Goff on the Detroit Lions. And once again, with another big game from Tyreek Hill and CeeDee Lamb. But other than that, it wasn't anything special. So I put Daniel in 8th. And I want to remind everybody that being 9th or 8th in the league is not terrible. It just means your competition's better. It's not that your team's bad. You know what I mean? Alright, so I'm done with this Vsauce thing. Let's get back to the normal writing from here on out. And with that, we are at number 7 in our power rankings. And this week, our number 7 is the Femboy Hooters Top G Tiers. This week, Myrtle was carried by TJ Hawkinson with 39 of his 102 points this week, with a disappointing loss to me, my team, getting diggy with it. With a loss of 102 to 126. That game kept me on the edge of my seat because TJ Hawkinson really showed up, and I really thought that I could have had a chance to lose. I didn't, because I'm really fucking good, but I didn't lose. Good job, Myrtle. Crash, boom, bang. Here comes number 6 in this week's power rankings. And this week, it's the trash cans. There's nothing I can say about this team that already hasn't been said. Mark's team is good, but it's nothing to scoff at. It's just a little middle of the road. Considering that his team was really fucking bad in the beginning of the season, anywhere besides 10th is good, but we'll see where he goes from here. In the 5th place of this week's power rankings, we have the one, the only, Ben Dover. Last week, he was number 1 in our power rankings, but after an abysmal week with only 78 points, it left everybody in the league wondering, what the fuck happened? This isn't exactly Gio's fault. But his team didn't show up to play, and this affected his rankings in this week's power rankings, dropping him to 5th. He'll probably be higher again a couple weeks from now, but right now, his team needs to pick it up. this week in fourth in the Josh Allen Fantasy Football League Week 4 Power Rankings, we have the Taco Bell fries. This week, Tyler took his second loss of the year via the hands of Frigo's team, which everybody who has played Frigo's team so far has been killed by him. Surprisingly, Tyler wasn't blown out of the water, but Tyler had a good game, and his team looked really good. So we'll see where we go from here. In third place in this week's Power Rankings, we have Eric's team, the Cooper Troopers. This week, Eric's team played very well, putting him over 140 points, pushing him a few places up in this week's Power Rankings, with big performances coming from quarterback Tom Brady and wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Depending on how number 2 Power Rankings team performs this week, this team might be in the number 2 spot for weeks to come. But right now, they're in third. In second place of this week's Power Rankings, I have my team, Getting Diggy With It. Again, this week, I wouldn't say I improved from last week, but I wouldn't say that I did worse. So that's why I'm putting myself in second. Considering that Gio's team fell off, I was able to move up to second, even though I scored less. But I did have a pretty good win over the Femboy Hooters Top G tier, scoring 126 points to his 102. And I had big contributions, once again, from the namesake of this league, Josh Allen, putting up 23 points, and Deebo Samuel doing the same.
Deebo Samuel is a down.
Looking good again, once again, here again, in second place. Again. Oh, wow, shocker. Holy shit. We're here, finally. Number 1 in our power rankings. It's Frigo's team, once again. Alright. Last week was not exactly his week, falling second. But he came back and landed himself in first again after Gio's team fell to fifth. Justin Jefferson and Mike Evans both put up over 30 points, and Joe capitalized on that. And he got himself back in first in this week's Power Rankings. And for honorable mentions, we have the Islamic State of Losers. I could tell you everything there is to know about this team if I really wanted to. But instead, how about I have the manager of this team tell you why they fucking sucked?
Matloff's team reminds me of a special need kids trying out for the Special Olympics and not making it. Yeah, they put up a good effort, and you really don't want to laugh at them, but in the end, you can't help but chuckle at their utter failure for failing to do the bare minimum in life. Matloff's team continues to use the same 2 Packers running backs. It's just not working out for him, and we're not quite sure if he'll be able to understand that he just needs to substitute A.J. Dillon for another running back.